The following presentation is brought to you by the Realm Network.
The Attitude Era is widely considered by many as the greatest product the WWE has ever had. Now, relive the entire journey with exclusive commentary, insights, and episodic discussion with head writer Vince Russo.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this edition of Raw, What It Was Good For. We're going to be looking at the Attitude Era, June 1st, 1998. And as always, I'm joined here with my co-host, Jeff Lane. Jeff, how you doing today?
I'm doing good, Vince. When we get to the Undertaker in-ring segment, just real quick, I want to say, to me, in my opinion, this is the gold standard of how to set up a main event for an episode of Raw with a storyline. So I hope everybody, I'm not going to discuss it right now. Obviously, we'll go through the show as we always do from top to bottom, but I want people to hear your take on that in-ring segment because I just think it's brilliant.
Bro,
I can't wait to get to that.
There's so much to go over on this show on an intellectual level. You know, bro, I always used to like to refer as the Attitude Era when I was writing the show and then later when Ed would join me. It was like a thinking man's show. That's how I used to like to talk about it. You know, you had to watch every episode. You never knew what we were going to do next. And it was really a thinking man show. And obviously, bro, it hasn't been that way, you know, for a very, very long time. But there are things in this show I'm going to point out to clearly demonstrate that to people. I want to tell you, you could find my T-shirts at ProWrestlingTees.com. You could also go to celebvm.com/Vince Russo, and you could have me cut personal promos for you to maybe promote your business or cut a promo on a friend. I'll talk about anything you'd like. celebvm.com/Vince Russo. All right, Jeff, I also want to introduce, we have a new third man in the booth, Jeff. There's me, you, and the third man of the booth, and here he is right here. His name is Gabrick. And this is what he brings to the table. Jeff, you know when I like something, I like to clap. Sometimes I get tired of clapping, so now we have Gabrick. And when he gets excited, he's going to do this, Jeff. Hold on. Hold the phone. I'm putting my finger up his backside. I know it's here somewhere. Here we go. Hold on. Come on, Gabrick. Hold on, Jeff. You stupid bastard. Here we go, Jeff. When he gets excited, here's what little Gabrick's going to do for me, okay? So I don't have to clap every time. I got little Gabrick here. See? He agrees. He shakes his head. See? What? He can't do both at once because he's not that coordinated. So he's got to do the cymbals. Then he's got to do the head. So there you go. There you got little Gabrick. He's going to be our third man in the booth, Jeff. Let me put him back in his little collar here. And there you go. He's going to sit here right next to me. He's going to look at the camera. There you go. Little Gabrick. What do you think, Jeff?
Excellent addition to the show. We're always adding things to our shows.
Yeah, we're always adding things to the show. All right, Jeff, let's talk about this.
What's up, everyone? This is Sharia. You can catch my Impact Wrestling reviews every week on the brand, and you don't want to miss them.
All right, Jeff, let's start looking at this show. June 1st, 1998.
This is the night after Over the Edge, which we discussed last week. If you missed it, go ahead and check that out. We are in Chicago. The show opens with a recap of the Over the Edge pay-per-view narrated by Vince McMahon, which I thought was hilarious. And I don't know if you noticed this, but to me, it looked like every single fan in attendance had a sign. Did you see how many signs were in this crowd? It was absolutely ridiculous. Yeah. We open. Mick Foley is in the ring, sitting in a chair, and he's not in any of his characters. He's just dressed as himself. He said that last night was not a good night for the dude, and says that Stone Cold Steve Austin kicked his ass. He made some mistakes, including listening to the wrong people. So the dude needs to give an apology, and he calls out Mr. McMahon. Vince comes out. Foley says that dude is going to be out of action for a while because of what Austin did to his face. But he'd like to think when he comes back that the dude will be right where he left as the number one contender. He apologizes for letting Vince down and says he'll come back at 100%. Vince asks him, "You want me to accept your apology for someone who is a miserable failure as a WWF superstar and as a human being?" Vince tells him to get down on his knees. The dude refuses and says he's not going to allow Vince to embarrass him on national television. Vince says he's already an embarrassment. Dude says that Vince underestimated Austin, but Vince says no, he underestimated the dude. Foley says deep inside it felt pretty good when he hit Vince with the chair at Over the Edge. So Vince dares him to do it again, points to the chair that Foley was sitting in the ring. Dude picks up the chair. Vince keeps antagonizing him, saying, hit me. But in the meantime, he's throwing in jabs like, you're going to lose your kid's college fund. You're going to lose your house. Come on, hit me. You're going to lose that fund for your parents. And Vince says the only reason he hasn't fired Austin is because Austin makes him richer, but all dude does is make him sick. So Vince tells Foley that his services in the WWF are no longer required. Dude loves music hits, and Vince McMahon starts dancing, which was absolutely hilarious, right up into Foley's face.
First of all, bro, what about the Vince McMahon voiceover up top? Which was incredible, absolutely incredible, the way he put himself over, and just the resilient Vince. I mean, just tremendous. I can't say enough about Vince's facials throughout this entire show. The looks on Vince's face is freaking believable, bro. It's unbelievable when you watch Masters at work here, because both, bro, here's the beauty of great talent and great writing. Both Vince and Mick are turning Mick babyface again. Okay, Vince by telling him you're a loser, you're embarrassment to your family, this, that, and the other thing, and Mick purposely making himself a babyface by putting Austin over. Austin proved to me he's one tough son of a bitch, blah, blah, blah. So now you got to ask yourself, bro, why is Mick building himself and Vince building him up as a babyface? So by the end of the show, he could turn heel all over again. Bro, the levels of thinking and the levels of cognitive thinking of these characters and this show, I'm not just going to say it doesn't exist. They're not capable of it. Vince McMahon is not capable of thinking this way. He's not. Vince McMahon is very one-dimensional, very wrestling 101. The layers of the characters here and the story, he's not capable of doing. He never was capable of doing it. And it's funny, look at this and put it together with the end. Mick wants a rematch. Mick wants another shot at the title. This is supposed to be all about the title. So why does he come back at the end? Because Taker's going to get that title shot. It all makes sense, and it gives all the characters depth. But yeah, bro, so that they turn, Vince turns Mick Foley babyface in 10 seconds. Mick then puts Austin over. This was a great freaking in-ring. The dancing at the end was absolutely phenomenal. Bro, you don't see in-rings like this anymore. You see the same thing with Stephanie and, my husband this, my husband that. It's the same weak bullshit. You don't see any scenes anymore. This was a scene, bro. This could have been in a movie. This wasn't Wrestling 101. Great in-ring. You just don't see stuff like this anymore.
JR and Michael Cole tell us some things coming up tonight. They tell us that Stone Cold is in the building. We have 3 King of the Ring qualifying matches, and there's going to be a 6-man elimination match between the DX and Nation of Domination. We cut to a shot of the entrance alley to the arena, and Legion of Doom, Droz, and Sonny are there, and they're gathering weapons. We're told that there is going to be a Chicago street fight with the LOD versus DOA next. So when we come back, Kevin Kelly's with Droz. Droz pukes on him. Legion of Doom and Sonny come in. They cut a promo on the DOA. Droz keeps puking. At this point, Chains comes down the alleyway entrance there on a motorcycle, which it serves as a distraction, allowing Skull and 8-Ball to attack LOD and Droz from behind. This starts the match, the Chicago street fight. Very hardcore match. It's pretty much all hardcore weapons hitting each other with stuff. Undertaker ends up coming down the ramp in the middle of the match, and he attacks Chains, he attacks Droz, and then he heads into the arena, and we go to commercial. So Undertaker totally ruins this match, but what a hook as we go to commercials. The Undertaker is walking into the arena.
Jeff, there's so much going on here, and again, bro, I just hate to sound like a broken record, but they've gotten so far away from what works, because all of this made sense, bro. We saw Droz for the first time last week. That's why Kevin Kelly is there with Droz. We want to build the Droz character. He can puke on notice. He's trying to puke on Kevin Kelly. Hawk comes in, puts over that he puked on his shoes. This is character building, okay, bro? Then, bro, listen. It's this simple, Jeff. And I'm going to compare it to now, okay? These guys just had a match on the pay-per-view. How can we return the match with it being a different match? In other words, if this is a straight up 6-man, I'm sitting there and I'm saying, well, why am I watching this 6-man? I saw it last night. Okay, bro, it's the equivalent of last week, Ziggler and Owens. Okay, this week, Ziggler and Owens. Just a straightforward wrestling match. So I'm sitting there saying, why am I watching this match again? Okay, bro, if there were stakes on the match, if it were a different match, if they were in a steel cage, whatever the case may be, now it's different. Now there's a reason why I'm watching it rather than rehash what I saw last week. So here we see something completely different. The way freaking Chains pulls up in the bike is absolutely phenomenal. Great look. Then they jump up from behind. And then, of course, bro, the Undertaker happens to just, be walking in the arena. It's, bro, again, it's the layers, Jeff. It's one thing on top of the next, on top of the next. While you're watching this street fight, are you really expecting Undertaker? That's what I mean. They've lost the formula. They've lost the spontaneity. I don't know, bro.
What was impressive to me was that cameraman backpedaling when that cart with chains on it was hauling down the
yeah, exactly.
Down the ramp. I don't know how that guy didn't fall. The cameraman.
Exactly. Yeah.
We come back from commercial. Undertaker is looking for Vince McMahon. We go to a match next. Is Val Venis versus Papi Chulo. And I believe this is Papi Chulo's first appearance on Raw as this character. He was previously Mr. Aguila, who we've seen a few times on these shows. He wrestled Taka at WrestleMania 14. A couple years from now, he'll become S.A. Rios, but right now he's doing Papi Chulo. Interesting, I didn't know he was only 18 at the time. That's very, very young. I know a lot of people got into the business that young back then, but to be on Raw at 18 years old, that's not something you see these days.
Yeah.
Val cuts a promo before the match about his gun. Yes, it's a gun. It doesn't shoot blanks. Val wins with the money shot. And we see Undertaker coming to the side of the ring. He's on a mission again. He did this before and we talked about it. There's no music. There's no big entrance. Undertaker's pissed off. He's on a mission. He's coming down the side of the ramp. He's walking to the ring. We go to commercial.
Bro, look how simple this is again. Second time we've seen Val. Okay, bro, second time. Give him his entrance. Give him his promo. Okay, bro? Give him his finishing move. Give him the victory. How simple is that? Promo, get character over. Finishing move, get the finishing move over. 1, 2, 3, 2 wins in a row for Val Venis. Bro, today, Papi Chulo would have kicked out of the money shot. That wouldn't have been the finish. They've complicated things, and that's why nobody's getting over. New guy, promo, finishing move, win, move on. Boom. Simple.
Yeah, and you don't take 15 minutes to do it and give the audience a chance to change the channel.
Simple.
We come back from the commercial. Undertaker's now in the ring, and he's discussing why he's so pissed off at Vince McMahon. I'm going to go through this entire thing, Vince, and then we're going to go to you. I said this earlier in the show. I think this is the prime example of how to set up a main event. This is the gold standard. This is absolutely phenomenal.
Did you say you're going to go over the whole thing?
This whole promo, yes, and then I'll cut back to you. Yes.
Hold on. Oh, bro, you're getting them all excited here. Gabrick, he's all excited, bro. What'd you say, Jeff? You going there? Oh, tell him you're going over the whole promo.
I'm going over the whole promo, Gabrick.
All right.
Yes, because there's a lot of stuff here, so I'm going to run through it, and then we'll go to you.
I got to figure something out because I keep sticking my finger straight up Gabrick's ass when I turn him on. I think
I saw a grin when you did that.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, he's ready, bro. We're ready, both of us.
Okay, so the Undertaker talks about how when he came into the WWF, how Vince McMahon gave him an opportunity, but then it changed. The giving stopped and the taking began. And Undertaker says that Vince used him to take out the giants that his handpicked champions couldn't defeat. He talks about Vince used him to make his kingdom safe for Vince and for those handpicked champions. The guys that Vince wanted with the belts couldn't beat these giants. Undertaker did it for him. So after he did that, he got his opportunities. But his tenures as champion didn't last long because Vince didn't want someone like The Undertaker representing the WWF. But he still remained loyal. Even after all those chosen champions left town for more money, thinking that The Undertaker's time would come again. But how did he get repaid for that? Vince forced him to fight his own brother, and he gave Paul Bearer an open forum to publicly discuss every personal tragedy that The Undertaker has gone through. Why? For ratings. But even after all that, he never lost his smile, and he kept on fighting. But as he's taking care of this family business, he notices there goes Steve Austin straight to the top. He makes a point to say he's got nothing against Austin because the only thing Austin ever did was come to the ring and fight him like a man, and that's all he'd ever ask. But Taker says he's had enough. Now it's time. He got what is rightfully his, and he's demanding a shot at the WWF title. He says he's talked enough. He tells Vince to get his pencil neck geek ass out there and face the Reaper. So Vince McMahon comes out, rips the microphone out of Taker's hand, says he will give him an answer in a minute. He says he's appreciative of Undertaker being loyal. And then he says, but what have you done for Vince McMahon lately? And then he asks him if Paul Bearer was telling the truth when he said the Undertaker's mother was a whore. Obviously, this offends the Undertaker. Undertaker steps up to him, but Vince tells him to hold off because he's got his answer coming about being the number one contender. Vince says, sure, you'll get it. You'll become the number one contender if you defeat your opponent tonight in this ring. Whoever wins that match will be the number one contender. You're facing your brother Kane. I love this, man. I absolutely love this.
Well,
I just go off on this, man.
No, go ahead, Jeff. Finish what you were going to say.
I was just going to say how selfishly as yourself, I think if I wrote this, be very hard for me to not look at this and be proud of what I contributed to this segment. Because to me, this is wrestling writing as it should be. This is telling a story in an in-ring promo, not just bad-mouthing somebody. There's an entire story laid out here. This sets up the main event for the show with interest, with stakes, and I don't see how anybody would not be interested in watching that match after this.
Well, Jeff, let me tell you something. This is where I know I can go back and I know what I wrote and I know where it was mostly off the cuff by the talent. Okay, bro? This was Taker. And I can tell you why, Jeff, because I'm going to pick this apart for you and explain to you why this was a 100% shoot promo. You know, first of all, Taker's out of character. He talks about being the slayer of dragons. Okay, bro? Bro, old school wrestling, you would always hear the promoter say, this was Jerry Jarrett's favorite thing. you would always hear the promoters say, you needed a dragon slayer. What that means, bro, is, you build dragons, you build dragons, you build dragons, you build dragons. Those are the heels. And then the dragon slayer is the baby face that overcomes the heels. So like that is so very old school. I heard Jerry Jarrett use that analogy a million times about you gotta have dragons if there's gonna be a dragon slayer. You gotta have heels if there's gonna be a baby face. So that's where he's getting this from. Now, you gotta keep in mind, bro, this interview is a bit risky. He's out of character, and Taker never talks like this, ever. So right there, bro, the talent is taking a chance, which you got to tip your hat to Taker. But, bro, now let's look at this. He first of all, he backhands a lot of people in a lot of things he says. He basically cut a promo on all the guys that went to WCW. I stayed. Everybody else went. Didn't mention them by name. Didn't have to, but made that clear. Everybody else went. I stayed. He talks about the ratings, bro. This has become a ratings business. Never lost his smile. That's an obvious shot at Shawn Michaels. And I'm going to tell you, bro, there was a little bit of a shot there about Austin coming in and going straight to the top. I mean, there really was. Taker was there for 10 years. Okay? And, bro, keep in mind, when Taker came in, there was a log jam in front of him because you had Hogan, you had Savage, you had all the greats back then. Now, Austin came in, bro, and there was a little time as the ringmaster, but he kind of went to the top very, very quickly. So when Taker basically says, Austin went right to the top, there's a little shot there too. A lot of what he's talking about, bro, he's cutting a shoot promo like the Undertaker would cut. Then he goes on, he wants a shot at the title, calls out Vince. Bro, you know what I love here? You know how we talk about this today, bro? You have your heel authority, and they just hate all the baby faces. Do you see how this generically is working and Vince is just starting to piss everybody off? Bro, he started with Austin. We just saw the promo he cut on Mick, okay? And now, Taker's had enough of Vince. So there's reason. It's not like, okay, these are all the baby faces, so they're all going to be pissed off at Vince now. He's starting to piss off the entire roster. That's the story we're starting to tell. Vince's facials were, again, unbelievable. Bro, great TV. Great TV. Bro, in this day and age, you know what they would say? You know why this would never happen? Because they would say, you can't book that match. You can't book that on without promoting it. That's a pay-per-view. You can't book that match. That's the difference between now and then. Nobody told us back then what we could and could not do. We did what we felt was the best thing for the show, and we worried about next week.
Yeah, two quick follow-up on that. You mentioned how Vince McMahon, the character's acting here, but the big thing is it's not a generic, I act this way to this guy. The Undertaker is a completely different character than Stone Cold Steve Austin, than Mick Foley, Dude Love, and so on. Yep. So Vince McMahon is reacting to the Undertaker and who he is, not out there spewing the same garbage that he would say to Austin or to Foley. You know what I mean? So exactly. Big difference in character. And the other thing, I know it sounded like I was insinuating you put the words in Taker's mouth. That's not what I was saying, but Undertaker didn't show up at the building that day and say, you know what, I'm pissed off at Vince McMahon. I'm going to go out there and demand I want a title shot. You know what I mean? And Vince is going to say, I'm fighting Kane. Right. So the whole thing is, but that's why it works so well. And you've said this numerous times. You give these guys the bullet points, and this is what's going to happen. And they go out there and hit a home run.
Right.
But who's not interested in the main event after this? Who's not?
Well, you know what it is too, Jeff? It's like, if any guys are given an opportunity now to go out there and cut a promo, the first thing that's weighing heavily on their mind, bro, is this. I'll tell you right now, if I F up, they're never going to give me the microphone again. That first and foremost is in – you think The Undertaker's worried about effing up here? You think like that thought is even in his mind? That's the difference, bro. That's the difference. That's why you don't see promos like this today, because if a guy is given an opportunity, he goes out there and he's so much on the defensive that he forgets all about the promo. Take it and not have to worry about things like that.
I thought it's interesting they left this Super Soaker commercial in there, which was a Sable photo shoot, and DX shows up and they're squirting everybody with the Super Soakers, and then they bully the cameraman. I just thought that was
and
funny
that was the real photographer of the WWF magazine, Tom Buchanan. Bro, did you see at one point him freaking reading the cue cards like a freaking imbecile? But that was legit. That was legitimately the head photographer of the WWF. I've worked with Tom for many, many, many years.
We have a King of the Ring qualifying match next. And it's Steve Blackman versus Mark Merrow. So we see the highlights of Sable losing her contract, the match with Merrow from the prior night, how she's out of the WWF now. And then we see a shot of the brackets. Before we get into this match, I just want, like, when you had tournaments like this that stretched out over a long period of time and went into the King of the Ring, when you're writing this show this evening for this episode, do you remember, is the bracket completely filled out?
Hello brand members and airheads, I am Chantal Air and you can watch me every weekend only on a weekend freak show because there isn't anybody out there quite like Miss Chantal Air. Is there?
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You fill out all the brackets, and you know where the entire brackets go in the minute you sit down and fill it out. Absolutely, yep.
So as Merrow's in the ring, the crowd starts to chant for Sable. So Merrow tells the crowd that she's home barefoot in the kitchen where she belongs. But however, he has a lady with him tonight that is everything that Sable is not. And he says not only does she know her place, not only does she have a bod to die for, but she's black, she's beautiful, and she's all mine. And he introduces Jacqueline. So Jackie comes out, shaking her boobs. Great introduction. Merrow ends up winning the match against Blackman with a shooting star press because he hits a low blow thanks to Jackie's interference with the referee. Interesting stuff here. We have the Merrow moves on in the King of the Ring tournament. Jackie makes her introduction, and we also, Sable, even though she's not there, she's involved in the story.
Yeah. And I love Jackie too, bro. And like, she is the real deal, bro. I mean, bro, I'm not kidding you. I bet you right now, I know Jackie could take everybody at NXT right now. I'm trying to think of the percentage of the WWE roster she could still take. I'd say half of the WWE roster right now Jackie could take. She could definitely take all of NXT. She was the real deal. I love Jackie. Bro, what about JR correcting Cole on the TKO?
Yeah.
That was interesting, huh, bro?
Yeah.
And
yeah,
what about
that was strange. Like, you don't, if they do it, it's normally they make it as a joke. You know what I mean? Hey, you moron, that wasn't that, and they try to make humor on it. But yeah, that was a straight correction.
That was a straight correction. And what about I liked the JR pointing out where Merrow had his hand practically up Jackie's rear end.
Yes. So we see highlights next of Stone Cold Steve Austin was on the Man Cow radio show. Who's a
bro? Gabrick wanted to applaud the hand up the rear end, but he was a little slow on the trigger. So just excuse him. He's had one too many bananas this morning, Gabrick. Okay, we done? All right, hold on. Bro, if I got to keep fishing around this monkey's ass. All right, there we go. Go ahead, Jeff.
We see highlights of Austin on the Man Cow radio show, and eagle-eyed WCW fans may remember that he wrestled Jimmy Hart in a match in WCW. I think you may have been there for that. But Man Cow's an entertaining radio host. And I liked how Vince McMahon was a caller. That had to have been an entertaining
bro, would
show.
they even think about that? Bro, would this one little piece of business, would this even be on their radar today? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this was on our radar. Have freaking Vince call into the show. It'll be freaking tremendous. Would that thought ever go through anybody's mind today? It was tremendous, bro.
Yeah, and what that does is it's promoting their storyline to maybe someone who hasn't seen, may not watch Raw that evening or get a ticket in Chicago. You know what I mean?
Bro. Yep.
We see another Edge vignette, as I believe we're getting close to him debuting. I don't remember when his exact debut is. And then we go to the 6-man elimination match, DX versus The Nation. Commissioner Slaughter comes out and he throws out members of both the Generation X and the Nation that aren't in the match. So we're left with the 6 that are in the match, which is for the DX side, Triple H, Road Dogg, Billy Gunn. And for the Nation side, it's D'Lo Brown, The Rock, and Owen Hart. So elimination rules. If you're pinned, you're gone. Match continues. Billy Gunn eliminates D'Lo. The Rock eliminates Road Dogg. Owen Hart eliminates Billy Gunn. So we're down to 2-on-1. It's Owen Hart and The Rock versus Triple H. At this point, Chyna comes back out. As she's walking down the ramp, we cut to a commercial. We come back from the commercial. Match is continuing. Chyna is there at ringside. Triple H eliminates The Rock, so we're down to just Owen and Triple H. At this point, Ken Shamrock makes his return. We haven't seen him since Owen destroyed his ankle. Shamrock comes through the crowd. He attacks Owen Hart. This causes the referee to disqualify Triple H, and the Nation comes out. They gang up on Shamrock. Dan Severn runs in and helps Shamrock clear house. So with the Nation out of the ring, Shamrock and Severn are kind of staring face to face. There's a history with them in the UFC, as the commentators have put over numerous times. But Severn grabs a suit jacket and leaves. And then at this point, Triple H runs in and attacks Ken Shamrock because he's pissed off. Shamrock got him disqualified. The refs and the officials pull them apart. A lot of stuff in this match.
Oh, bro, you know what's beautiful about this? Again, this is not in their wheelhouse today. Okay, bro? Shamrock returns, goes right after Owen, doesn't give a crap about Triple H or disqualify him, could care less. That we're protecting Shamrock. Okay, that's Shamrock's protected there. Okay, bro? Now all of a sudden he's getting piled on. Here comes Severn, because the week prior the Nation got heat on Severn. Now Severn's character is protected. So you got one layer with Shamrock, you got the second layer with Severn. We protected both characters. Now Shamrock walks out. Now freaking Triple H shoves Shamrock from behind because Shamrock cost Triple H the match. That's what Triple H would have done. So you've protected Shamrock, you've protected Severn, you've protected Triple H. They were all true to themselves, what those characters would have done in those moments. Bro, they don't think at that level anymore. It goes back to what I just said to you early, bro. Ambrose slows blows Lesnar. Lesnar's incapacitated on the mat selling. Dean Ambrose ain't going to pick him up one more time and hit him with Dirty D. Why? Tell me why. This guy hit you with an F5 at the beginning of the show. He hit you with another F5 right now. He hit you with another F5 last week. He hit you with 3 F5s. A low blow is enough for you? That's what I'm talking about, bro. And when you don't protect the characters, nobody gets over. And this is where, like, we put ourselves in the shoes of every single character. They don't think that way anymore, bro. It's basic 101 now. If we miss something, we miss something. Yeah,
and there was one thing I absolutely loved in this from a storytelling perspective. You covered it, and there was one thing that bothered me. So I want your thoughts on that. I'm not, I will bring up stuff if I didn't like it. That's why we do this. We're honest about it. I absolutely loved what you said, that Triple H was furious that Shamrock cost him the match, because a lot of times today, you know what's going to happen if a babyface causes a babyface to lose a match by running in? They'll fist pump afterwards. You know what I mean? Or they'll high five, or Triple H should be mad. You know what I mean? In this point, the thing I didn't like, maybe I missed something. You can explain it, but Slaughter comes out, right? And he throws everybody out, including Chyna. So when Chyna comes back out, why was that allowed from a storytelling point of view? You know what I mean? Wouldn't it have made sense? I just didn't understand that, why she was allowed.
I mean, you're right, bro. And I think we would assume that, or you'd have to assume, bro, that there was a point in time in the back when Slaughter's preoccupied and not glued to the monitor. So Chyna sees an opening and goes out back to the ring. And that's assuming a lot, bro. But, like, to me, that's what happened. But that also should have been, explained, so you would not be asking the question. So that's a great question to ask, bro.
We go to a shot of The Undertaker backstage, and we go to commercial. Obviously, keeping the thread alive for the main event. And when we come back from commercial, I love this. We see a shot of Vince McMahon talking to Paul Bearer and Kane. And Kane shakes Vince McMahon's hand because Paul Bearer tells him to. And this is what I loved about this, and I want your thoughts. We have no idea what was said. Absolutely none. So you're building suspension in the viewers, or not suspension. You're building whatever the word. They're thinking in their head, what just happened? What did Vince talk about with them? You know, this is building up more stuff for the main event as we get anticipation. That's what I was looking for. But building anticipation, we don't know what was said, and we want to know what was said. I absolutely love that. And what was it, 10 seconds?
Here's the beautiful thing on that too, bro. Listen, Jeff, I got to tell you, like, bro, first of all, let me say today is the 9th. I've worked out for 40 straight days.
It's awesome,
okay, bro. Yeah. Let me say this, like what my go-to on the treadmill is Seinfeld. And I got the Hulu for free. My future daughter-in-law hooked me up and everything. So I got Hulu for free. So, bro, you know it keeps streaming. So it's one episode into the next, into the next, into the next. I never realized until you start watching them in succession how they keep bringing up stuff that happened. They keep bringing up. I mean, it's unbelievable to me. Larry David and Jerry Seinfeld with the continuity and the attention to detail. They keep following up on things that were episodes ago, right? Bro, I think like 3 episodes ago now, 4 episodes ago now, they're talking, and what does freaking Lawler say? He says Vince McMahon better be careful because talking to these two could get him in trouble. He's referring to when he was talking to Paul Bearer about take his mother. And that was a freaking month ago, bro. Bro, the guys today the announcers can't tell you what happened at the beginning of the show by 10 o'clock. Lawler's referring back to what happened to him when he talked to Paul Bearer 4 weeks ago. I thought that was absolutely phenomenal, bro. Absolutely great.
Next is Tennessee Lee in the ring. He does his usual introduction for Jeff Jarrett, but then he also introduces the backup he now has, which is Southern Justice, which is a repackaged Godwins. They're cleaned up. They're in suits. The announcers put this over. Those are the Godwins. You know, they're cleaned up. So Southern Justice is now in this fold with Lee and Jeff Jarrett. And the match is Jeff Jarrett versus Farouk, another King of the Ring qualifying match. Southern Justice allows Jeff Jarrett to get the win. They distract the referees. Tennessee Lee tosses in his belt to Jarrett, and Double J hits Farouk with the buckle, knocks him out, gets the win. Thoughts on Southern Justice's debut?
Well, a couple of things. First of all, bro, these guys, the Godwins, the greatest guys in the world, very close with Taker. You know, so like we nice guy. We were always trying to find something to do. Phineas, bro, was the comedian of the group. Phineas was like a clown, you know, always funny. He was really like the laid-back Southern guy. Bro, Henry Godwin would kill you. I mean, bro, this is a guy that was – bro, this is like I can't help but to think. I'm so sorry, bro. Like, I'm so sorry. But when I think of a guy like Henry Godwin, I think of, like, you know, the NXT guys and the guys from NXT that go to the WWE. And, like, it's like comparing boys to men. And this is Henry Godwin, bro. This is like as low down on the card as you can go. But this is a guy that would legitimately kill people. And then you just see these guys come up now, and they're like boy, bro. You know what Henry Godwin would do to a Kevin Owens? Like he would wear him for a shirt. I mean, it's like it's unbelievable to me how like anybody can be a wrestler today. But bro, here's the thing that I love. Again, would never happen today. They recently had a tournament on Raw, and I remember sitting there saying, can we have like a heel matchup or a baby face matchup? You know what I'm saying? Bro, Double J wins. They keep updating the graphic. The thing that's jumping out on you every time is Triple H and X-Pac. You're already anticipating that match just by seeing the freaking graphic. Bro, this stuff is done for a reason. This isn't done by chance. People are already saying, oh my God, Triple H is wrestling X-Pac. What are they going to do? Today, bro, you see a bracket, babyface heel. again, you won't see things like this anymore, bro. They don't take chances. A lot of times, bro, they don't know how to get out of it. They'll say, okay, if we book Triple H against X-Pac, what are we going to do? Bro, if you can't figure out what to do in a fake wrestling match, you don't deserve to be working in the business. There's a million things you can do. But that's what I said, bro. A little thing, but that is diving, off the page.
Yeah, I know we're almost 18 years out from this, and it's hard to remember specific things, especially when you've written hundreds and hundreds of shows since this one. But the process of repackaging somebody like the Godwins, who at this point, I believe they've been on TV for 3, almost 4 years as the Godwins, the decision's made, this gimmick's going to end, we're going to repackage them as Southern Justice. What's the process and all that?
It doesn't really work that way, bro. It's kind of like the Godwins had their run, and like we're not using them. And bro, I'll tell you, when a talent's not being used, 95% of the time they'll keep on top of you. What about this idea, or what about that idea, or what about this idea? That they got to get on TV, and that's what they do. And bro, 99% of the time, that's where the new gimmick comes out of, to be honest with you. And they had a lot to do with that Southern Justice, gimmick. And, bro, again, it's like, bro, this is where it pays off to be one of the good guys in wrestling. Because if you're a dick and now we finally have you on the sideline, bro, you can come up to me till the cows came home. I'm not going to be in a hurry to get you on the show. But when you're genuinely a great guy and now you're not on the show and you come up to me and we're trying to get you back on the show. That's why some guys, don't think. I worked with some guys, bro, that were complete jackasses. And what they don't understand is when you're a jackass to the writer, he's not going to jump through hoops to put you on the freaking show. Use your freaking head. But, on the other side, when you work the writers, they're going to get you on the show. And that's, Phineas and Henry were great guys, man.
Next is a video of Vince McMahon on him giving to charities.
Unbelievable.
It's funny because everything was true in the video, but it was still hilarious. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Great.
The next is a light heavyweight championship match. Taka Michinoku defending against Funaki of Kaientai. Big pop during this match for Al Snow, disguised as a ringside photographer, and he had the Kodak little disposable cameras that you used to buy at Walmart for like $8 or whatever. And, he's got head dressed up as a Japanese photographer. So security removes Al, and Taka gets the win and retains the title. I just had a note that this match was not about the light heavyweight championship. It was about Al Snow.
Yeah. And also, bro, what I pointed out was, do you see how special Taka's moves were?
Yeah.
There was one match or one guy or a couple of guys that were going to do stuff like this and make it special. It stands out. When you do it every single match like they do now, bro, nothing means anything anymore. When freaking Taka ran across the ring, bro, this was unbelievable. Okay, see, this is like, to me, this is unbelievable. Not doing a somersault into the guy in the corner. When I can't do something, it's unbelievable. I can run, do a somersault, and land my big fat ass in somebody's face. I could do that, bro. I promise you, I could do that. No question about it. Did you see him run across the ring, jump, spring off the top rope, and then take the dive to the out? Bro, do you understand how incredibly ridiculous that is? Bro, do you understand he's full speed runs, jumps, perfectly hits that top rope? Bro, if he doesn't hit that top rope perfectly, he's going to seriously injure himself. And then he ran, boom, springboard. You remember that. When freaking Raw is over today, bro, after 3 hours, tell me one move you remember. What one thing you remember in a show? It just, again, bro, you keep doing it, you keep doing it, you keep doing it, you keep doing it. It just doesn't mean anything anymore.
Next, Jim Ross brings up Paul Bearer and Kane onto the screen, and he asks Paul Bearer how confident he is in Kane tonight versus The Undertaker. And Paul Bearer is confident that Kane is going to win, and then will go on to become the WWF champion. We see a shot of Al Snow yelling at Head outside the arena for it being a stupid idea to disguise themselves as photographers.
That was great.
And then Vince McMahon comes out and he joins the commentary team at this point. And we have a King of the Ring qualifying match, Mark Henry versus Terry Funk. The entire time they're putting over this main event. You know what I mean? Yep. Taker, Kane, Austin,
you got to, of course.
Vince. Nasty chair shot on Mark Henry in this match. And then Mark Henry ends up getting the win in this match. And we see a shot of Austin walking backstage towards the arena. Vince McMahon looks pissed off, and we go to break.
Yep. Yeah, and Funk did some crazy things too in this match, bro. I think he's about 53 at this point. That one bump he took when his legs hit the guardrail, I mean, was just ridiculous. Yeah. So we come back. Stone Cold comes out. Vince is still pissed off. Austin goes to join the commentary table as well. So now we have, look at this setup. We have Kane versus Undertaker, #1 contendership on the line. Winner faces Austin at King of the Ring. On commentary, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Vince McMahon. The match proceeds. The referee ends up getting knocked down. Undertaker hits a tombstone on Kane, but there is nobody there to count because the ref is knocked down. So here comes Mick Foley, who is now Mankind once again. He puts the mandible claw on the Undertaker. Vince McMahon's putting over. I fired him. I have no idea what he's doing here. His family would be proud.
Yeah, and he's smiling while he's saying this. This allows Kane to fight back. Kane ends up hitting the tombstone on the Undertaker. Kane gets the win. Kane's the #1 contender. Will face Austin at King of the Ring. And Kane ends up getting out of the ring. He walks towards Austin. Austin gets up. They're kind of face to face. Kane signals, the belt around his waist. He hits his pyro, walks off. We see Undertaker and Mankind continue to brawl. After the match, Vince McMahon is saying, I may have to change my mind about Mick Foley, or I may change my mind. And they continue to brawl as we go off the air. So a lot of stuff here. My big thing is the unpredictability. The audience, I'm sure, is expecting Undertaker to win this match.
Yeah, absolutely. Bro, a couple things. I wish Vince McMahon. Bro, first of all, I wish he would watch one Attitude Era show. One, because he'd sit there and say, where the F did what happened? He would. He'd say, how did we go from that to that? He would. He don't dare watch these shows. But if he dared watch these shows, bro, there were two things that he said that I wish he would remember that he said. The first thing he said on Color was, anyone who fails deserves to be fired. Vince, your freaking company is failing miserably. I don't see too many people being fired. That's exactly what he said. Anyone who fails deserves to be fired. Bro, you could look at TNA. You lost 2 networks. That's failure. I did not see anybody fired. Okay. Here's the biggest thing that he said, bro. This is what he said. This is what the WWE is all about. How many shows do we watch on Monday where we can say that? Where Vince McMahon can literally sit back and say, this is what the WWE is all about. When a New Day is in the ring wearing unicorn horns, like this is what the WWE. That's what I'm, bro. If he could just go back and revisit this guy. It's unbelievable to me. But let me talk to you. I'm going to talk to you about one very important thing, bro. I pointed out I love Austin referring to Vince as a greedy bastard. My favorite part of the show was probably at the very end. Vince literally crawling on the announce table to get in Austin's face was incredible. Jeff, here's the thing that stood out to me more than anything. Okay, and anybody can go back and watch this. I wish Vince McMahon would go back and watch this, okay? Bro, there were a couple of times during the match where they had the split screen. They had the ring, and then they had Austin, Vince, and Law and the announcers, okay? Those 5 guys, JR, Cole, Lawler, Vince, and Austin. They kept showing that shot. Bro, it was clear to whether you're a wrestling fan or you're not a wrestling fan, it was clear to anybody. Those guys were having an absolute effing blast. Those guys, bro, were as into it as the freaking people in the crowd were. And this is what people don't understand, bro. It takes that kind of excitement to suspend the disbelief. Those guys were into every single moment. They were loving it. You can tell, bro. The people at home are watching that. If JR is believing this, how am I supposed to not be believing this? You know, it's bro. You want to see a moment where literally the disbelief is suspended. Here it is. Bro, I don't think you get any moments like that in 3 hours, anymore on wrestling. It's freaking ridiculous. Bro, they had a scene last night where Ziggler, cheated to beat Owens, and they're all carrying on. Grown men are carrying on about that Ziggler cheated. And I'm sitting here, I'm saying, am I effing 10 years old? We're talking about cheaters. Can you imagine if Austin would have accused Mick Foley of cheating in that spot? But that's what I mean, bro. When the announcers, when the owner of the company is that much into it, oh my God, bro, you are clicking on all cylinders. The people are buying it. Everybody's believing it. You can't wait till next week's show. Off the air hot. Please, I swear, I'm begging Vince to go back and spend one night, bro. When nothing good is on TV, spend one night, watch a couple of these shows, and freaking try to figure out how did we get to this point now where nobody believes this horse. What happened?
But I researched the ratings of this episode.
Let's get a break. Hold on, I need a break.
Okay.
Hold on. All right. Bro, the finger up. All right, Gabrick. All right.
Gabrick, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Gabrick. All right, good. I got my breath back.
So I was looking at some of the ratings as I was just curious. And the prior week that we did was a tie. Raw and Nitro tied. This episode, Raw won. And the breakdown was the first hour of Raw got a 4-3. Nitro got a 3-4. The second hour, Raw got a 4-2. Nitro got a 3-8. And the unopposed hour that Nitro ran first, the first hour, they got a 4-0. For those that are curious, the Nitro main event that went against this Kane and Undertaker was Hogan and the Giant versus Kevin Nash and Lex Luger. And the big storyline on that episode was Sting was making his decision on if he was joining the NWO Wolfpack, or WCW. So that was their storyline hook for that night. Coming up, Raw wins 8 out of the next 9 weeks. And then WCW takes over. They have a mini run in August and September where they win a bunch of the time for the final time in the Monday Night War before Raw just obliterates them from that point on.
Interesting. That's good that you get that information, Jeff. That's very, very interesting.
Yeah, it was online because I was interested to see the hourly breakdown, and they had it where Raw or Nitro was a 4-0, but then when Raw came on the air that first hour, they dropped to a 3-4.
Yeah.
So I mean, but you look at those numbers and the second place show, the numbers obliterate the only show today.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So next week, June 8th, 98, as we continue on the road to the King of the Ring.
Yeah. Well, there you have it, everybody. That was June 1st, 1998, Raw, what it was good for. Hope you enjoyed the show.